Hey guys, Elliot here for Worldwide Auctioneers, and I'm getting joined today by Bradey Gerke, head writer and researcher here at the company. And I thought we'd have a little bit of fun today, Bradey. We had to look around the inventory, and I kind of thought, what if it was 1991 and we wanted to choose sports cars that we would buy that specifically our neighbors didn't have, something that you didn't see every day? What did you go with?
I chose a 1991 Acura NSX.
I see, not a bad choice, a classic. I went with also a 1991 Chevy Corvette, but this isn't just any Corvette. This is a ZR1, so a little bit better than the normal Corvette. Obviously, polar opposite, different cars, although they are both red. What made you choose this thing? What's this 0-60?
Well, you know, it's not all about straight up performance.
I know, but what is it?
The 0-60 is comfortably right under 6 seconds.
Comfortably, that's good. Mine is 4.4 seconds. So quite a bit faster than the Honda over here.
Right. But what is your retail price?
My retail price is $35,000.
With the ZR1 package?
$70,000.
$70,000.
With the ZR1 package. So as equipped, $70,000. What about you, Bradey? What are you sitting at right here?
Well, you could get the NSX in 91 with a manual for $65,000 or as equipped automatic for around $69,000.
Okay,
so slightly cheaper.
Slightly cheaper. I see. And I will say rarity, because the whole thing is here, I don't want a car that my neighbor has, and all of my neighbors have Porsches. What's the rarity here? How many of these did they make?
So for 91, they imported around 1,900 to the U.S. North American market.
That's pretty rare. So again, this isn't your normal C4. They only made just a hair over 2,000 ZR1s in 1991. Now I will say from here on out they got more rare, but I think you got me on the rarity on this one.
So I might have you on the rarity, you might have me on the performance, but I think the thing that sets this apart is you've got exotic styling, but you've got the everyday reliability.
That's fair. Yeah, because it is essentially a Honda.
Yes.
After all.
VTEC.
With a tuned up Accord engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say it does look like a supercar. I would wonder, be like, whoa, what is that? You know, this is definitely going to get your attention. Even though I love it, this does look like a normal Corvette. You have to be a real Corvette nerd to even spot one of these, you know, from a normal C4. So I will say in the looks and uniqueness department, you got me. But if you know, you know. It's what's under the skin here. And what's under the skin here is a hand-built 5.7 liter dual overhead cam V8. So, you know, got a lot more power still. I know.
Plenty more. I will agree with that.
I will say the reliability thing is going to go with you every time, because I think as long as you put oil in this, it will run forever.
When we're long and gone, I think this Acura will still be going down the road.
I think you're probably right, Bradey. I think if enough people love this car over its lifetime, they will keep it going. It is a little bit more complex, a little bit more finicky of an engine, not as much knowledge out there about them because they didn't make that many and the people who had them didn't work on them generally. But that's enough of this comparison. I think we should take these things out on the road and see how they compare out there, because it's not all about specs.
I agree. Let's do it.
Let's go. Okay, we are out on the street in the 91 NSX now, and Bradey's gonna still try to sell me on the merits of this thing. Even though it doesn't have power, I do like your forward visibility.
So I feel like you are so connected to the road because you're so low, as you can hear from the bumps, but you get that raw Formula One-like connection to the road.
And there's a reason for that.
And the reason would be is because the world champion Senna himself had his hand in the development of the Acura.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of the testing and really shaping out the kinks and performance issues that could have been, but weren't.
Hey, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, to have a professional personally give his, his opinion. I mean, he spent a lot of track time in this, perfecting it.
He did.
But even though we're not on the track, I mean, it's a pretty comfortable road car.
It's still a great car. Yeah. And as your Corvette might have a little more performance, as it
Yes.
does. You know, this has a 3.0 liter V6 VTEC.
Yes.
And
I know. Let's experience the
It
6
still
second.
has good performance.
Yeah. Oh,
A nice little sound.
sounds great. There we go. Yeah. See, I think that's. I mean, I'm pretty sold.
So
It
you
looks-
might not be the quickest off the line, but you get up there.
You get up. This is not gonna. It's not a slouch by any means.
No.
This is, like I said. The other thing is, production numbers are not. This is not a car you see every day.
No.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that if we're shopping for uniqueness, which in this comparison video we kind of are. Yeah, no, this thing pleasantly surprised. We'll
Best of both worlds.
Have to toss into some corners on the way back. Let's get more of that 0 to 60.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay, it's good.
Impressive.
Yeah. And you could cruise at this. It's like not loud in here. No, I like this thing. Also, great side bolsters on these seats.
It's a phenomenal car for everyday drivability too.
Yes.
You got trunk space,
True.
plenty of room in here. You almost have like an analog feel, but with modern day technology.
Yeah. I
And
think
this
so.
example has been upgraded with the touchscreen Kenwood sound system.
It has, so you can modernize. You can actually listen to your own music in here and not just be stuck listening to FM radio.
Yeah, and
So-
it doesn't look out of place.
No, because this car looks like it's well, not that old. And watch out for the banana peel. There's
Yeah,
a Mario
well,
Kart
Mario
situation.
Kart gotta-
Yeah, we're dealing with that all day. Every day I'm like, up, peel. Yeah, now we can kind of experience the handling here.
Some of the Senna-derived performance and
'Cause
handling
this is a
on these
great corner
Acuras.
to toss through here.
And you're so low and connected to the ground, it's like nothing
Yeah.
for these cars.
Oh, look at that. Oh my God, I don't even have to brace myself that much because of these seats side bolsters. All right, I think you got a good car in your hands here.
I
Good
like
choice. Good choice. All right, let's go.
Let's try out that
let's
vet.
Let's go get in the Corvette. I think I might convince you otherwise. Okay, we're out on the road now in the C4 ZR1. Now, what do you think? Look, we've got an open top experience.
I will say, all first impressions, I do like the interior of this more just because of this open top.
Yes, the ability to be both a coupe and convertible is one of my favorite things about any target top vehicle, but especially Corvettes. We were talking about handling characteristics. The suspension and geometry and everything in this car was actually designed by Lotus. So not one guy, but the entire team of one of the best handling cars on the planet. And then you can roll out of a corner, give it a little power, and the tires are even breaking loose right there. So that's why I like this a little bit. I've got
It's hard to argue that after being just in the NSX.
It is, yes. A lot of things are going to feel faster after the NSX. The problem is right now, you know, we're going out onto a public road, and the whole thing about this was uniqueness. I think these passerbys think that we just pulled out in an old Corvette. Meanwhile, I think people would take pictures of the NSX. So there's something to be said there. I'm going to give it a second here for this traffic to clear out, but
Yeah, you've got eye candy versus a regular American
still a
sports car,
good-looking
but
car.
a rare sports
But
car
it's just you
at
don't
that.
know how special it is. But when you roll on it a little bit,
There it is.
yeah, it's got all the power there. It's just here now that we're not in a curve, we'll give you another taste because this is my main feature. And it revs up to almost 7,000. I mean, it gets going.
It's got it. It puts you in the back of your seats.
And imagine how this felt in 1991. This was one of the most powerful cars you could get. I mean, aside from a Lamborghini Diablo, this was called the King of the Hill as its nickname. We'll go back over here. Oh, old tires, I will say. That's not helping us. And skip shift isn't either. But just feel the power again real quick. And a good number. And I mean, it's going to get you up to highway speeds, I would say.
Now, one thing I do have you beat on is got to be the gas mileage.
Probably, but you'd be surprised. These get upper 20s on the highway. Because the thing is, these gears are so tall, like, well, I mean, we're only going 50 right now, but I put it in 6th, barely over 1,000 RPMs. And this engine does not have to work. I'm sure that you've probably got me beat slightly on gas mileage, but this thing is remarkably efficient for what it is.
Especially in 90s.
Right, especially in 90s. Now, we did mention in the NSX, you had good storage. Now, if I didn't have this top back here, you'd also notice it's actually quite spacious. You can pack a lot of stuff back there because it's technically a hatchback. It's got a whole thing back here. It's a terrarium. It's amazing. But anyway, we're getting back to the thing. These cars are both very different. I think you've convinced me of some merits for the NSX. I hope I've convinced you of some merits for the ZR1 as we take some turns here.
As I'm trying to keep the camera straight.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep the smile off my face, but let's get back and close the video out. Okay, well, that was fun and enlightening, I would say. Did I enlighten you to anything about the ZR1?
I will say I was thoroughly impressed with both examples, and if I had to go back in time and walk into the dealership in 91, I would have been pleased and excited to come out of the dealership with either one of these examples, foreign or American. You
know what, I agree. You did teach me that it's not all about power, sometimes reliability, and in fact, these exotic car looks might have been the perfect answer to the original question. Which car would you guys choose?